Hey YouTube, today I am giving you guys a opening of the Speed Duel starter deck Duelists of Tomorrow. I opened already the Destiny Masters, which is the first starter deck, so I'll add a link in the description below and you guys can check that out. Also I'll add it to the end of this video. So this is the Duelists of Tomorrow. So the first pack focused on the Millennium item holders. This one focuses on the sort of strongest duelists from the first series that aren't Millennium item holders, or the main ones. So we've got Kaiba obviously in the front, followed by Joey and Mai, and they're often in the same products anyways. So yeah, let's go ahead and open this. So we've got My Valentine. It also comes with 3 ultra rare variant cards, a playmat, which I believe, judging by this, it's got Dark Magician and Blue Eyes on it, and it just shows you what a Speed Duel playmat looks like the zones that are available and how it differs from the main game. And then the last 2 character decks we've got is we have Kaiba over here with Blue Eyes in the background and Joey with, of course, Red Eyes. So let's start with Joey, and let's get his deck box opened. So his is the only one at the minute that contains extra deck monsters. So yeah, onto his skills, we have got Grit, which is at the start of your turn, call 2 numbers and roll a 6-sided die. If you roll a number you called, your life points do not get lower than 1 until the end of your opponent's next turn. This skill can only be used once per duel. So obviously a lot of Joey's character in the anime was luck based, so of course his skill cards are luck based as well. So we have got Last Gamble. This one is at the start of your 5th turn, activate this skill, count both players' turns. During your main phase, you can reduce your life points to 100 and discard 2 cards from your hand. Roll a 6-sided die and draw cards equal to this result. This skill can only be used once per duel. And we've got Palominization. During your turn, you may reveal 1 normal monster in your hand. This turn, that monster can substitute any 1 fusion material. If you do, the other fusion material must be the correct one. This skill can only be used once per duel. So this is probably his most useful one, since he actually runs a lot of fusion cards. So onto his monsters, we have got Red Eyes Black Dragon, Meteor Dragon, Flame Manipulator, Masaki the Legendary Swordsman, Alligator Sword, Baby Dragon, Time Wizard, Little Wingard, Copycat, Gearfried the Iron Knight. Onto his spells, we have Polymerization, another copy of that, Stray Lambs, Legendary Sword, Sojin, Dicefoon, Graceful Dice. Onto the traps, we have got Skull Dice, Kunai with Chain, a Red Eyes Spirit, and his extra deck contains a Flame Swordsman, a Thousands Dragon, and Alligator Sword Dragon. So at the minute, I believe Joey's is probably the weakest deck of them, or the most inconsistent. He also kind of got the shaft with the skills, but he does have access to the extra deck, so there is that. On to Kaiba. Obviously, his is going to be focused on Blue Eyes White Dragon, and this is probably the strongest deck of all 6, really. Okay, so on to Kaiba's skills. We have got Peak Performance. So all Dragon and Wing Beast and Thunder monsters on the field gain 200 attack and defense. We've got Beatdown. If you control level 5 or higher monster, you can activate this skill. All monsters you currently control gain 300 attack for each level 5 or higher monster you control. At the end of your turn, flip this card over. Dragon Caller. Once per duel, you can use one of the following skills. If you successfully normal summon Lord of D, add 1 of the Flute of Summoning Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, or reveal the Flute of Summoning Dragon from your hand, then add 1 Lord of D. So this basically searches both of them in order to get your Blue Eyes out, which is pretty cool. So onto his monsters, we've got Blue Eyes White Dragon, Battle Ox, another copy of Battle Ox, Ryukushin Powered, another copy, Luster Dragon, Lord of D, another copy of Lord of D, Twin-Headed Behemoth, Tyrant Dragon, Spirit Ryu, Kaiba. Onto spells, the Flute of Summoning Dragon, Stamping Destruction, Cost Down, Burst Stream of Destruction, Mountain, Interdimensional Matter Transporter, Dragon's Rebirth, and Trap Jammer. So a pretty strong deck overall. You can kind of see why it's the strongest and the most consistent. Being able to consistently search out Blue Eyes, summon Blue Eyes by Lord of D is pretty cool. And the last but least is the leading lady, Mai Valentine, who's received a lot of publicity and products recently, which is pretty cool. Hopefully that continues. So her deck is a bit of a weird one. I believe it's pretty strong, not as strong as Blue Eyes, but you wouldn't think like by fusing two completely random archetypes it would work, but I think it's due to her skills. So her first one is Aroma Strategy, so you may look at the top card of your deck at any time. We've got Flight of the Harpies. If you lose 1,800 or more life points, you can activate this skill during your next draw phase. You may search your deck for any Harpy card, reveal it to your opponent and add it to your hand instead of drawing. If you do that, flip this card over. So I said this in the last video that it's really good. They've made a change. So in the Duel Links, if you lost that amount of life points, you would add one random Harpy card from your deck to your hand. Obviously, that would be difficult to do and quite long-winded in speed duels, because you'd have to pull all the Harpy cards out, flip them face down, and then your opponent shuffles and then chooses one at random. So the fact that you're able to choose which Harpy card you want is really good, and it's a big improvement to the skill. Next, we've got Tribal Synergy. So this is the one that most people use with Mai. It's her strongest one. If you have an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster in your hand, reveal them and draw one card. If you control an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster, draw two cards. Each of these skills can only be used once per duel. So on to our monsters. We have got Harpy Lady 1, Harpy Lady 2, and of course Harpy Lady 3. We have the Harpy Lady Sisters, Amazoness Chainmaster, Amazoness Swordswoman, Amazoness Sage, Birdface, back to the Harpies, another Birdface, and a Sonic Shooter. For the spells, we've got Elegant Egotist, another copy of Elegant Egotist, Triangle Ecstasy Spark, Cyber Shield, Harpy's Hunting Ground, Amazoness Heirloom onto the traps, Amazoness Archers, Windstorm of Etakua, Shadow of Eyes, and another Wild Tornado. So again, interestingly guys, I mentioned this in the box opening of Sisters of the Rose. If you look at these cards, we've got Harpy's Hunting Ground, that was in Sisters of the Rose, Triangle Ecstasy Spark in Sisters of the Rose, along with Elegant Egotist. And on the monster side of things, we had, I believe it was just Harpy Lady Sisters. So these four cards here were already reprinted about a week prior to this or 2 weeks prior to this, so a bit of a wasted slot in Sisters of the Rose since they were all coming out here as commons anyways. But hopefully that just means Konami have got something planned for the more expensive Harpy reprints. But less about that. So I believe this pack has got probably the most strongest characters, with Mai and Kaiba being the most strongest decks at the minute. So on to the ultra rare variants. We have got Champion's Vigilance, which is obviously for Kaiba. Fusion Gate for Joey. And we've got Amazoness Village for Mai. So it's quite cool seeing Amazoness Village as ultra rare. So I'm going to have to probably get another 2 to upgrade my Amazoness deck. So guys, just a quick recap on what I think of speed dueling and the 2 starter decks that have just been released. I think speed duels is a fun way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's obviously a lot more simplified, so it's going to appeal mainly to a lot of new players who want to learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a much more simplified version of the main game, so I think that's going to appeal to a lot of new duelists and hopefully not scare them off, so they can gradually progress and learn how to play this game. It also appeals to veterans like myself who've played the game since the beginning, because it almost goes back to how the game was originally played. I'm going to hopefully give you guys some duel videos to show you how the character decks work, and I'm going to maybe do like a mini tournament where I won't change any of the decks. I'll play them how Konami have intended them to be played, and I might do like a mini tournament so we can find out like who is the strongest duelist of the 6 new characters. So yeah, stay tuned for some more videos. I'm going to give you guys a link in this video to the other opening of Destiny Master, so check that out please if you haven't already. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more content.